Hello, so in this video what I've done is I brought in the SimpleBot, and I also imported the motion capture file from the reference video. It's a 30 frame walk cycle. And what I'm going to do is click this button here and go here and say show joints. Now I've got the model and the skeleton, so I'm going to select them both. I'm going to hit Control G, which groups them into their own group. I'll just call this mocap. And now with mocap selected, I'm going to make an additional group, layer rather. Call this the mocap layer. And selected objects. So I can bring in or hide that layer. I can also template it, or I can make it a reference object, which means that I can't accidentally select it, but I can use it for reference. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. We're going to make the SimpleBot in this pose. Again, the foot's launching from the ball of the foot and striking on the heel. And the hips or the body is going to be rotated along with the forward leg and slightly down a little bit towards the forward leg. Okay, so here's frame one. I'm going to be continuously keyframing these keys, or these controllers rather. And so to select them every time can get sort of tedious. So what I'm going to do is show you a little trick there. I'm going to open the script editor. It's also found under Windows, General Editors, I believe. This is the history window. This is the input window. I've made a MEL tab, which stands for Maya Embedded Language. Here I'm going to clear out both the history and the input. And what I'm going to do is just select each one of these controllers. And the history window repeats back the command for selecting each one of these nodes by name. What I can do is take that middle mouse, drag it, throw it up on my shelf, and let's edit and drop over here to shelves. Just going to give it a name, label. Loc CTL, so that's for locomotion control. Okay, so now if I want to select those keys, I just click on the button. That'll save me some time. Now that I've established the first pose, the first contact pose at frame one, what I'm going to do is click on the key selected there, And I'm going to pull this down a little bit. So the red indicates I've got keyframes on all of these. Okay, and now I'm going to look at another trick, a couple more tricks I'm going to show you. The next one's going to be, what I'm going to do is to select the bot group. And I'm going to go to Edit, Duplicate, Control D. So this makes bot group 1. And so for bot group 1, what I'm going to do is go into Modeling, Mesh, and I'm going to say Combine, which makes bot group 2. Now if I were to click on the W key, I can see that this bot group 2 is now just a duplicate of the original bot group. And what I'm going to do is use this as a reference for the pose. So we'll put it back to frame 0. And I can edit, delete by type history. And after having combined that mesh, what I've got here is really just transform node garbage. So I can delete that. So I'm going to rename this to, and I just double clicked it, to contact 1. Now I'm going to duplicate that, Control D, and I've got contact 2. I'm going to make a layer for each one of these. So let's do contact 1. And contact 2. So contact 1 I'm going to hide. Contact 2 I'm going to scale in -x. So scale it by -1. And I can freeze the transform there, modify, freeze transformations. So this contact 2 is a mirror image of what contact 1 is. And as you can probably guess, I'm going to use this to create my next pose here. Now, I'm also going to show you another trick. For this, I'm going to hit the space bar. Let's go to the side window. And I'm going to turn the grid back on. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to Create, Curve Tools, EP Curve Tool, Option Box, and I'm going to make a 1 degree linear curve. Now this is like an Adobe Illustrator curve, but if it's 1 degree linear, then it'll just be straight lines. So essentially what I'm going to do, I'll hold down the X and it'll snap to the grid. And I just want to make myself a little box here. Okay. So now I'll come back, right click, object mode, and so now I've got a little box. I'm going to say modify center pivot. Now I can turn off the grid. So this is another NURBS curve. Let's make a layer for that. I'll just call it box. And I'm going to use this box curve for measuring things and use it as a marker. Now this is not a complex rig at all. In fact, some would argue that it's nowhere near complex enough. Normally you might see controls for a reverse foot action, but I elected not to put that on this rig as I wanted to make it very basic, and so you could go through and understand the entire process. Okay, so I've got my first frame. My next frame is going to be on frame 15. It's going to be my next contact pose. And what I'm going to do is take this box and I'm going to put it here and just nudge it up there a little bit. So I'm going to want to rotate this foot down. But since when I rotate it down, it goes back behind the box, so I'm going to use the box as just like a marker. So let's rotate the foot down. And then let's move it down over here. And I'm going to have to move this guy a little bit more. Again, I'm up at frame 15 here. I've also got auto key on, so anytime I move a key or a controller from this point on that has a keyframe, it'll automatically make a key. So now I'm going to take the marker again. So I just rotated it down so that it would rotate on the heel. And now I need to rotate it back up again so that it looks like that. So I'm going to use this side of the box to align the front of the foot with. So at this point, I can take my switch onto the polygons there. And at this point, I'll take my box 2 and I'll just move this over. And I'm going to make that a template. And I don't need the box on anymore because I've already found the position. Now I'll make my little measuring box visible again. And I'll enable box 1. Just put him off here for a bit. So now I'm going to go to frame 30. And so what I'll do now is take this foot, let's take this and rotate it down. So that it fits right there inside the box. And now we can make this box 2, or box 1 rather, make that a template. So we use this measurer to put the foot there, and now we're going to rotate it up. Change the windows by tapping the spacebar. I'm going to rotate back. Oh, I knew there was something wrong with my previous pose, and the problem was that I forgot to rotate it correctly. So we'll go back and fix that in just a shake. Add the box, key everything. So back at frame 15, you see that my rotation's off here. So the rotation in the z-axis. Things also feel like they're a little off. With these guys, so I need to see what's up with that. Not sure about the discrepancy in the X value here, but I'm not really going to worry about it because the C1 and C2 have really served their purposes for me. So now I've got my contact poses. Now what I'm going to do is put in my passing poses. I'll do those at frame 8 and 22. So we'll go to frame 8. And I'm going to key everything. I'm going to go to frame 22 and keyframe everything. Let's show the mocap again. Let's go to frame 8. So in the mocap, the spine is shifted a little bit towards this way to kind of balance over the foot. This foot is barely lifted up into the air and it's just barely passing the other knee. Hip is going to be rotated down and over. Turn the block back on. Turn the mocap off. To find where this foot was, I'm going to go back to frame 1. And now at frame 8 I can make my adjustment on it. I'm going to change my windows here. So I'm going to go to a 2 window. This will be perspective. And so now I've got my contacts and my passing poses. Again, I'm just going to go in and select my controls. Just make sure everything's keyframed on those. Now I'm going to come back and do my down poses. So animation's really a lot about establishing contacts and going in and layering things till you get your locomotion and your weighting down. And then you can start worrying about the more fluffy stuff. So this is going to be my down pose. It's going to be at frame 4. Go ahead and key that. So go back to frame 1. Just to, again, find that rotational place on the foot. Back to frame 4. And at frame 4, that foot's going to be all the way down. If we bring up our mocap, we'll see that the foot's down. And the other one is just starting to lift up. So I've got a little bit of slow in, slow out on my curve. So to fix that, I'm just deleting the interior keys. I click on spline, and that'll straighten them out. Now the down pose also gets its name from the character moving down a little bit, and why. Okay, great. Now I'm going to put in the up poses. I'll do that on 12 and 26. Now the up pose is where the character is pushing himself up. It's the highest point before the contact. So we can see that right around here that the hips on the mocap is a little higher. Then it comes down to the second contact. So I pretty much have all of my keyframes that I wanted to put in. I think what I'll do is, since character moves down, if we look at the mocap, I'm going to look at the head, look up here. Okay, I think what I'm going to do is take the head and rotate it down a little bit. On the down key. Up on the up key. Just to maybe give him a little bit more life in his body. So if I go to the rotate X on the head here, maybe put that up a little bit. And for these, I think I'll pull them down a little. I'm also going to look at the translate Y here. So here he moves up. And here he moves up. Actually, no, that's this key here. Now these keys, I want to match the slope as they come in and out. And I'm going to go over that in class. Okay, now with this rotate business, as he steps down, his head rotates down. As he comes up, his head rotates up. But I want that to be a little bit more reactionary. So what I'm going to do is take this whole key or channel, the shift, I'm going to move it 2 frames back. So since that's 2 frames forward, essentially that means that that'll be more reactionary and kind of a lag behind. So now I'm going to come back and just realize that my window's been cut off here for recording. So what I've done up above here is hasn't been seen, so make my window a little smaller. So I apologize for that in the recording. Okay, so what I've been doing here is clicking on this, which selects everything. I made that with this command here that was echoed. So I'm going to select that, and again I'm going to go to my keys, my major keys, contact, down, passing, up, and I'm making sure to keyframe everything on these. Second contact, down, passing, up, third contact. Now what I'll do is delete these keys that are in the center because I don't need them anymore. I still have that offset with the rotating head. Now I've got more to do here. That's in the feet. But what I'm going to let you do is study this diagram for the foot roll, and want to see if you can kind of make it flow back and flop down. Okay, so that's the part I'm not going to show you. So best of luck and have fun.